bucks out the door she goes. You asked me for an offer, I gave you an offer. $12.99, and that's a smoking deal. I've been in the business for about 25 years now. Just started selling. You know, I was at the flea market. I put an ad in the local newspaper saying, looking for this, wanting to pay cash for that. Before you know it, opened up a 35,000 square foot warehouse. Anywhere there was an opportunity, I was looking for it. I want to give you $1. How's that? It's the rush of doing the deal. The rush of getting the deal, flipping the deal, and making the money. And every day, some new person walks in the door, some opportunity walks in the door. You never know. Every person's got a story.
And that is Jeff Schwarz. He is the Liquidator, which you can see on OLN, and he is joining us now. But he's got some deals to do, people. He doesn't have a lot of time. Jeff, how are you?
Good.
Jeff, this could be my new favorite show, man. Tell us what it is how do you define what you do? Because there's a lot of different elements to your job.
Well, you know, you wake up in the morning, something's different's happening every day. So most people know when they're driving in, you know, okay, this is what we're going to do today. I could be driving over a bridge and all of a sudden somebody will call me and say, you know what, we got to get out of this place tomorrow.
So what do you do as a liquidator? I mean, it's obviously large quantities of stuff, but is there any limitation to stuff that you will take on?
Yeah, I was going to say, is it always large quantities?
Well, you can buy right up to single items. It all depends on how hard you want to work at it. Everything, there's always a buyer just about for anything, and there's always a seller for just about anything.
So how long has it taken you? I mean, you mentioned how long you've been working in the business, but how long does it take you to get that reputation where people, because I would assume the advantage would be people are phoning you, right, when they have something to sell, and they're thinking of you first thing. How long does that take to get that reputation that you can do this?
Well, we're still trying to learn that part because it's trying to get all the good stuff just like everybody else, and have them come to us would be great, but sometimes we have to go to them as well.
Is it really competitive, the industry?
You know, it is and it isn't. I mean, you just gotta, you know, you gotta sort of step out and just go for it sometimes, and you never know what you're gonna get, and there's always someone trying to sell you stuff. It's whether or not you can buy it for the right price so that you'll want to come in and buy it off of me.
Now, we're living in a world where we've got Pawn Stars, we've got Storage Wars, we've got the Liquidator. Who knew that stuff like this would be stuff people would watch on television? Because did it ever occur to you that what you do would make a great television show?
Well, actually not really, but yes, all at the same time.
Yeah.
I think the difference between what we're doing and the other two shows that you mentioned, other than the fact that they're down in the States and we're up here, the big difference is that every day and every episode, we were very, very clear, like this is actually really happening.
Yeah, this is your business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at this coffee table right in front of us, and I mean, it's only worth something what someone's willing to pay. I mean, I can tell you it's worth $1,000, or
Right.
it's worth $200.
So how do you know? Is it instinct for you? Is it gut feeling? Is it research? I mean, when someone's trying to sell you something, how are you basing what you're paying for it?
You're just taking a big chance and hope that your gamble wins most of the time.
Come on, really?
Well, you know, I just bought a mirror off of a guy recently. He told me he paid $4,500 for this mirror, you know, and this thing was huge. It was like a tri-mirror, and what do you want for it? The guy goes, well, $500. I said, no, I'll give you $200. He says, make it $2.5. Well, we took it, and sure enough, it looked like a $4,000 mirror, and we sold it pretty well a week later. So that was just something that you just have a gut feeling for.
Now, we've seen one of the episodes, and I would equate kind of what you experience, I guess, to a tattoo artist, because people seem to want to tell you their stories as well. What is that part of your job like? The fact that, you know, everything that you have has this huge backstory to it.
Well, sometimes you get kind of attached to it, and it is kind of interesting, you know, listening to especially if you're dealing with some movie props. Like I'll have two movie props side by side, and if this one was in the movie, it's all of a sudden worth more than this one. So you got to kind of make one up if you have to. But you don't want to.
No.
You know, that's not what we do. No. No. It's people want a part of that. But not necessarily all movie props are worth any money anyway, because they're just kind of like weird.
Right, once again, but that's part of the fun of it
that's right.
is watching some of these stories and the stories unfold as you go. Because there's one, we don't want to give away too much in the first episode, but somebody calls you to liquidate something, and it looks like one thing and very much turns out to be another thing, a better thing. Does that happen very often, where that first look can fool you?
Well, that's actually, and sometimes people who call I'll tell you a story of a guy in the West End. A guy called me up one time, this is about 5 years ago, and he says, you know, I have got a box of tools. I said, oh yeah, what kind of a box? He named the name, Snap-on Tools. Oh, okay. Whereabouts are you? And I'm living in Port Coquitlam. And I said, well, okay, whatever.
It's a long drive.
Long drive. How big's the box? It's pretty big. All right, so I go to this Yaletown apartment. This guy's living on like the 18th floor. And I walk into this apartment. This guy's got a Snap-on toolbox, probably about 6 feet long, 7 feet high, fully
loaded of tools.
What is that worth?
Like the box, well, we actually sold the box at an auction for about $4,500 and the stuff inside for about 10 grand. I mean, it was just insane.
What?
Yeah, like this is like, and
A little gold mine.
it was.
So how important is it for you to just always...
Why did he have that in his apartment?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
The funny thing was actually pushing it down the hallway and into the elevator because the
The elevator probably went,
it was, and that was back in the days when we started. We actually got the box outside, and then he goes, "Do you buy cars?" And he had a '72 Dodge Dart, 3 floors under the ground, cherry red paint. We towed this car up. Actually, I was so cheap, I pushed the car up, and and so we put this car on the back of a this tow truck.
Yeah.
Here's this cherry red Dodge Dart with this huge box, and it was like the visuals of this was driving down the road.
But how much
So
of a poker
funny.
face do you have to have? Because when you see something that's a gold mine, at the end of the day, you're trying to make money.
It's a deal.
It's got to be like gambling and keeping that veneer that, oh, yeah. So how much is sales?
Well, usually there goes all my tips, but usually
I was going to say, you have to worry about the
People are
show,
going to see
too,
the
right?
show. Come on.
You're telling me the stuff you got is actually really good. I don't know.
There you go.
There you go, as you know it. Well, it's a beautiful show, man, and we wish you best of luck.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
The first season, the first episode we saw last night is just a tremendous example of docuseries. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Shot right here in Vancouver. It premieres July 5th on OLN. You can be sure to check this one out. You can find it at the Liquidator TV on Twitter as well. So if you have something you want to sell, this might be your
Especially
guy.
if it's
but be careful.
Dodge Dart. I know. We're going to take a break.